The former first-round pick benched in the fourth quarter yesterday. Wasn't going to start next week. Haskins stripped of his captaincy this season and fined after another violation of the league's COVID-19 protocols. Marcus Spears back with us on SportsCenter. Marcus, what's your reaction to Washington's decision to release their first-round pick from just 18 months ago?
Jay, the first thought I had was unfortunate because he had a golden opportunity. And I actually had a conversation with Dwayne Haskins a couple of days ago and was just telling them about how this is a bottom line business. And there was not a lot of room for him to have these kind of missteps, especially off the field. On the field, look, people think, football is not played in a vacuum, right? When a guy's playing bad, there are things that coaching staffs, there are things that organizations will hold on to make themselves say, hey, we have something in this guy. We need to keep him around. We need to continue to let him grow and mature at the position, whatever that may be. But when you have missteps on the field, and when there's questions about how much you care about football, and then you have the things that transpired off the field, that there is no room for an organization or a team, especially a head coach like Ron Rivera, to give you any leeway or any leash to do what you need to do in order to bounce back. So hopefully, and through that conversation, that's what I was explaining to Dwayne, is that this is no longer people like you. This is about what you do for an organization, what you do at the position. And if you don't, man, this is going to be the turnout. If you're balling and you're having a lot of success, yeah, we could fine you for having strippers over or whatever and move on from that. But when you having a disastrous on the field coupled with off the field, there's no room for that. So hopefully he can go somewhere and get a fresh start and kind of renew his mindset and his spirit and be around people that are just going to invest and making sure he's in the best possible situation to succeed. He
threw 12 touchdowns in 16 career games, which included 13 starts. Marcus, you hang tight.
Elsewhere in the NFC East, this was not the quarterback matchup we saw at the beginning of the season, right? Week 16, you got the Cowboys and you got the Eagles. You got Jalen Hurts and you got Andy Dalton, but there's some good quarterback play here. Jalen Hurts, hey, welcome back Deshaun Jackson.
Oh,
what we know he can do.
Like old times.
81 yards, his only touchdown of the game. But listen, you'll take it from a receiving position that's been lacking for the Eagles this season. They go up 14-3, fifth career receiving touchdown of 80 or more yards for Jackson. This one a little closer for Andy Dalton and Michael Gallup. Those two connected for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second quarter alone. So Dallas had a 3-point lead at the break, and they're still rolling in the third. This one to CeeDee Lamb, 52 yards. Exploring the stadium space. Cowboys go up 10, 377 pass yards for Andy Dalton, fifth most in his career. Chance to make it perhaps a one-score game, but Jalen Hurts picked. It's Anthony Brown who got him. 2 interceptions and a fumble, 3 turnovers for Hurts. Only happened once to him in his entire college career. 20-point loss. Cowboys get the win there, take care of Philly, and end the Eagles' playoff hopes. So, despite the loss for Washington, they still can win and get into the postseason. They beat the Eagles. Washington is the NFC East champ. If they lose, though, the winner of the Cowboys-Giants game will win the division. And if Dallas gets in, quarterback Andy Dalton picks up $1 million thanks to a contract incentive. All right, Marcus Spears. Yeah, that's after what's been a wild season for Cowboy fans, right? Soup to nuts, beginning to end here. To be at this point where they can still win this division if Washington loses, what do you make of that scenario?
First, let me reference the $1 million. I'll never forget on any given Sunday when Lawrence Taylor, the shark, had said, did I get my $1 million? That's how Andy Dalton got to be thinking this week. Obviously, the incentive for him to play.
He's being carried out. He's like, don't drop me. Don't drop me. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, don't drop me. Don't drop me. I'm worth $1 million. But nah, Rand, it's 2020, right? And I'm gonna try to make an analogy because and we don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna try to bring this home quick. Right? You look at how this year played out. We've been quarantined. We haven't been able to move around. Haven't been able to travel. It's been an absolute mess. You look at the NFC. It's been an absolute mess. Nothing ended up the way it was supposed to start. We were all hella excited on January 1st, 2020, because this was the new year and we were about to get it in. We were excited, man. Everything was popping. People was getting new contracts. We were looking forward to football being played, all of that. And then the pandemic hit. And as you saw, a lot of things started to transpire. The NFC East, same thing. And now we have a vaccine and there's hope and people are starting to kind of feel that things are going to happen good and transpire. And that's what the Cowboys are. That's why they're America's team. And I know people don't like that. I know it's a lot of people cursing at me on the TV and frowning up, but it's America's team. Look like a resurgence. It looks like the Cowboys have had an opportunity to evaluate themselves in this mess of a NFC East and mess of a year and say, hey, do we actually have a shot? Yes, you do. They're popping up. They're coming back from the dead. They put up points against the Philadelphia Eagles. They made a lot of plays offensively. That excitement was back in Cowboy Stadium. You looked at Zeke Elliott is almost at 1,000 yards. We've talked about his tumultuous season. We saw CeeDee Lamb back to making plays. Andy Dalton showed us why that was one of the best acquisitions coming from the Cincinnati Bengals and thought that this quarterback room was safe. So the Cowboys are what America has been. And it's looking like they actually have a shot to get into the play. Are you kidding? Think about where we are today. And this conversation we having. I can't even believe I'm talking about this. And you look at the division, and obviously Washington needs to lose and all of that. But this is a very real possibility that the Cowboys may win the damn NFC East and be in the playoffs. Y'all, 2020 in a nutshell.
Listen, if we didn't have this conversation, we wouldn't get that analogy. America's team is reflective of America. Here on SportsCenter coming out of Washington, where the Washington football team is releasing quarterback Dwayne Haskins after a series of on-field and off-field issues. That, according to what sources are telling ESPN. Former first-round pick, actually selected 15th overall in the 2019 draft. He was benched in the fourth quarter of Sunday's loss at home to the Panthers. And Ron Rivera saying earlier today that Taylor Heineke would start next week if regular starter Alex Smith is not healthy. So Dwayne Haskins demoted on the depth chart, seemingly at the behest of Ron Rivera. And now news coming out of Washington that Dwayne Haskins will be released. Let's bring back Jeff Saturday for more on this. And Jeff, you see this sort of dizzying spiral here of a guy who was selected 15th overall in 2019, given an opportunity on the field. There were some off-field issues as well recently. And now this move. What's your reaction to how quickly this has come together?
Yeah, Ron Rivera's not messing around, man. I mean, listen, when you talk about performance on the field, that's one issue. When you talk about distractions off the field, and then you pair that with the type of performance he put on Sunday, Ron Rivera's just look. He's going to move on, and you know he's kind of got that old school mentality, man. He is a players first coach. Call him players coaches. I understand that, but man, when he doesn't feel like a guy is bought in, he is not afraid to make a move and make a change. And it's disappointing. I know where his mind was, thinking that they could build in and kind of play under Alex Smith. But I'm assuming all of this truly stems from the distractions in the locker room. We know about the COVID issues and what happened last week and not wearing a mask. Those kinds of things from the guy who you expect to ultimately run your franchise just become too large of a burden for a team like the Washington football team to carry. And he's seen what Chase Young, right? Think about Chase Young on the other side of the ball. I think they just put a C on his chest, right? They just made this guy a captain this late in the season. So it's kind of a tale of two different, rookies, right? A rookie this year and a rookie last year are two high picks. One's a captain and gets stripped of it. One's a captain made late. It just shows you the difference. And Ron Rivera just decided it was